Hello, friends. Back to my uh, ad hoc ranting uh, and video show on the internet. Now, this particular video is very important. You hear all kind of analysis about Trump and Biden and so on and so forth. It's like those Trumpites or shrimp Trump are trying to stake out mileage for something else. If I was them, I would be more realistic about the situation. But you know what? I've seen those people before. To them, the word realistic is a trifle. You know, like here we go. Is a trifle, meaningly they have some school of thought. I'm making an assumption here. They have some school of thought that teaches them to be something that does not entertain, reason, or these typical normal human reflections or notions. How do I know that? You see it in their words, you see it in their behavior, you see it in their action, and so on. And it's ugly, really, because that's what usually kills millions and so on. But believe me, you want to watch this till the end. It's very important. And all that comes from the Talmud, you know, teachings of maybe, you know what, the Talmud is probably old and so on, and Simeon ben Yochai and so on, but there's a group, a line of people among them that keeps that hatred burning and spinning in their brains and so on, and in their heart and psyche. Let's see about Putin threatening the use of nuclear weapon. First of all, I assure you, he will not use them. Reason being, I don't think anyone in that cabal of crews in Moscow no one wants to see that happen. If they want to see it happen, you know, that's their problem. They started the conflicts. Nobody else did. So far in this century and in the last century, everybody is in defense against that communism, resisting their advances and their encroachments and their invasions and their takeovers and you know, like I can go on and on. So they're going to use it? No, they're not going to use it. But then the world cannot live in fear of this threat and then succumb and you know, like fall victim and eventually surrender to those Pustalenins, the lizard eye cabal of Moscow. But now back to the point, and this is the important point. Why are they talking with impunity about nuclear weapons and so on? Believe me, Trump was responsible for this. Here comes the analysis. When Trump was in the White House, not that he won by election or anything else, you know, like Netanyahu appointed him and that's that. We know that by now. He engaged North Korea. He became first. At the moment he walked into office, he began to be belligerent toward North Korea, sending his B-2 bombers, you know, the American B-2 bombers, which are strategic bombers that usually are used in weapons of mass, like nukes and, you know, hydrogen thermonuclear devices and so on. And he sent the Navy cruising its ships, destroyers, and carriers into the waters of North Korea, you know, like off the waters of North Korea. Basically, he was there, you know, he wanted to bully or scare North Korea into capitulating, giving up, basically, you know, like. But then he has all kind of unrealistic expectations and understanding, and his personality is disturbed. In short, his interaction with North Korea, he emboldened North Korea. And then when North Korea launched a ballistic missile above the Japan, you know, crossing the over Japan into the sea and so on and so forth, Trump didn't really do anything. Basically, he just surrendered. Not just that, Kim Jong-un played him. He played him, you know, like he even brought him into a meeting and so on. Trump was that weak And Korea before Trump has never been so dangerous than it is after Trump. Not just that, it emboldened, the dealings with Korea and the confrontation with North Korea by Trump emboldened everybody else against the United States. Now there is a suspicion that when it comes to North Korea and its nukes, I think they could do it on their own. Because they started way early and so on and so forth. So I don't think it's hard for them to not to achieve, warheads, not to achieve the nuclear arsenal, own nuclear arsenal on their own and so on. But I always was suspicious about their rocketry. Their rockets were nothing really until this particular guy, the new leader who was Kim Jong-un. Suddenly they have these very sophisticated rockets, and I always wondered where did they get that from? You can't, rockets are very difficult to design and manufacture and so on. Yeah, you can draw it on paper and so on, but it takes a lot of calculations, and it takes precision manufacturing, and it takes testing, and because you need navigation systems, right? Inertial navigation systems or GPS or whatnot. So how did they get that? I always wonder. I was suspicious at Putin, as a matter of fact. I don't have the proof for that, but if anyone helped Kim Jong-un achieve such a sophisticated rocket science or production, that would be that culprit, Pustalenin, sitting in Moscow, lizard eye cabal of Moscow. So if you see Putin now, Pustalenin, or the Pustalenin or lizard eye cabal of Moscow, threatening the use of nuclear weapons brazenly. They're not afraid because they have seen the United States go into such confrontation and back down, right? Now they know that it's the United States who will not respond. Now, what am I saying here? That the United States should threaten nuclear weapons? No, but you don't do that. But you don't back down either from the fight in Ukraine. And Clinton proved that. Actually, he went into Serbia, and Serbia is what? Is Russia, really. And nobody did a thing about it, and he did something else too. I assure you, what the leadership of the United States is doing now is very simple, making sure that Russia gets through with this war. Biden was very sad and mad on the first week of the invasion because it turned out like he knew from his intelligence sources or the US intelligence that this war is not going to be a walk in the park. Now, I said that even before the war, right? Hey, better than your intelligence. Now, anyways, but you cannot back down from Putin. No, you can't back down from him. But that's what it is. That's what it has become now. He threatens the use of nuclear weapons because he is assured to the fact that the United States will not answer. Now, the United States will not respond in any case or show or whatever it is because the United States is on the side of Pustalenin. Now, back to Biden. When Biden was sad, he realized from the first assessment, the US assessment of the war in Ukraine, he said, oh, Ukrainians, are gonna, they have been independent for 30 years now, they're gonna suffer, the consequences of, war and so on. What he was talking about is that this is not gonna be a walk in the park, it's gonna be a few months for Russia. His brother, Pustalenin. That's what it is. Now, how do I know they're helping him? It's very simple, folks. The ruble is being secured and shored up and financed, and that government is financed by all those establishments you're talking about. United States, you're talking about Germany, you're talking about China, you're talking about the Gulf Arab countries, and perhaps Egypt as well. It's the first time that the currency of Egypt has just suddenly began to crash because they're shipping all kind of dollars to him, to Pustalenin, from the US and here and there. And sometimes in the stock market, when the stock market goes down so much, they are cashing in Russia, right? They're China, and I even suspect Japan is doing so as well, because Rahm Emanuel went and became ambassador to Japan just few a month or two, I don't know how long before the war started, because they knew it was going to start. And now somebody needs to commandeer the Japanese economy to provide for that war in Europe, at least in Europe, right? Because they knew it may cost so much and they need support for it. And guess what? Japan, they know who, remember, there was a rabbi before JFK, and that's Truman. And he is the one who used the nuclear weapons on Japan. Nobody else. He is the one, Rabbi Truman. So anyways, was John Kennedy a rabbi? No. Roosevelt, yes. I think Ulysses Grant and his nemesis, that Northern Alliance, what's his name? Robert E. Lee. Oh, you can count on those. Robert E. Lee and Ulysses Grant are like Khomeini and Saddam Hussein. They're brothers, basic and simple. So anyways, the reason now the Russian cabal and so on are threatening weapons of mass destruction with impunity is because they witnessed through Trump that Trump will flinch, basically. Now, am I saying he should have used nukes? No. Number one, he didn't know how to handle it. Number two, when it happened, he should have, and these are advanced tactics, I will not divulge them here. He should have done something there if he was good for it, of course. So that's the reason, basic and simple. Those Democrats, Republicans, whatever they are, they keep talking about Trump. Trump was the cause. North Korea has never been so dangerous before Trump than it is after Trump, and now, and it'll still further become more dangerous in the future. I am not concerned about the cabal of Moscow, that lizard eye cabal of Moscow using nuclear weapons. No, but I would be concerned about North Korea, really. Not as much. I don't think so. Heck, they even threatened China at one point when China started to intervene on behalf of Israel and the United States. Well, Israel was really going after North Korea. They want to disarm North Korea. What's her name? Hadassah, the UN envoy from the United States under Trump, North Carolina or South Carolina, when she said that North Korea will be utterly destroyed. She was speaking in the Israeli tongue, not the United States tongue, because she doesn't give a shit about the United States. In fact, she is part of the cabal of this the crew that is destroying the United States, one of which is Trump, really, and Biden and Obama, for that matter. Obama was very influential in the process of sunsetting the United States. So that's number one, folks. Number two, I want to go back to the original point and say, Pustalenin will not use nuclear weapon. That's point number two in this ad hoc ranting. Now, point number three, for you Australians, Germans, English, Africans, Asians, whoever it is, the situation is polarizing. I said before, this is going to expand. Not because it's planned as such, but sometimes the theater, if this is not an entertainment theater of Shakespeare, no. So often the case when it's a theater of conflict and something like this, it begins to behave and drift to a situation or a status that's uncontrollable by humans. That's normally the case all over history, for that matter, conflicts and so on. So the world is polarizing. I just heard like chatter that in the Middle East now, and like at least in the Middle East, that they're polarizing who's going to fight with Russia and who's going to fight along with the US and so on. They don't know that Israel is behind all these governments, but things are progressing toward that. I don't know 100% if it's going to turn into like a major war, but that I wouldn't be concerned about. Now, I would be concerned about letting this fester into something that's not acceptable, meaningly it may expand into as such because the United States is really sitting backward. Now, if the United States and Germany and Sweden and France and so on step up to the plate, Pustalinins will take the back seat, and that will speed up the end of Pustalenin. But Israel is sworn on keeping Pustalenin, just like Israel was sworn to keep Bashar Assad and Ayatollahs and other things. That's who's behind who. All this fiasco. Look, I'm going to make things easy. The modern age and its conflicts, and its political ups and downs and nuances and meanderings and who's rising and who's going down, began to happen after the appearance of two guys or two crows. Moses the crows. One is really Theodore Herzl, and that's the more influential of the two than I think of the other one, who is called Shabbatai Tzvi. That's the Turkish guy who said he was the Messiah in the 1600s, and he eventually converted to Islam under some threat or something. I don't know if the story is true, but no, that's true. That's when things began to happen. And China is loyal to Israel is because they transferred everything and all. First, they made the revolution, starting in 1911, and they transferred all this technology to them. That's totally Israeli. China is what it is now because of Israel, and the purpose of it is to recruit and bring up a force to destroy Islam further. And India can thank them for that, or heck, even the United States. All these sciences and technologies that existed before, of course, no weapons of mass destructions or electrical computer, but it was mechanical computer, was already there. It was developed and made by the very same people they're trying to destroy for 1450 years ago. And in the process, they have murdered hundreds of millions. Not gonna happen now, but the destruction is severe and big. So folks, time for you to take sides and time for you to get ready for wider conflicts and so on and so forth. And the sooner you get into it and support Ukraine, the better for you, because if you sit back and relax and look the other way and play dumb, things are gonna become atrocious, and the situation will be exacerbated, and then you will have to fight on your own turf. Let's put it this way. Now the establishments are ready to receive Putin in the West, but guess what? The people they cannot do it like way out in the open. So in a sense, they have to pretend like they're against Pustalenin, but they're really for him. Whether you're talking about all the establishments in Western Europe, that is the case, but not the people. Now, even in Ukraine, I thought Zelensky is nothing different from Nigel Farage, who really hated the moment when he realized that Brexit came to pass, right? And it still didn't come to pass. Have a nice day, my friends, and be careful. What's happening now is serious and detrimental, and the plot. And I said before even the war started, way back, like a couple of months back, that Russia is not going to come from the east. It's going to come from Belarus, and they're going to commit the pincer movement, and so on and so forth. And I'm telling you now, this thing will expand, and those who perpetrated this war in Ukraine, and caused it to happen, and we're behind it, and that's Israel, really. They're going to come to regret it. All right, that's the round for today. 3 points. Can't ask for more. Have a nice day, my friends, and talk to you later.